Hi, everyone. I wish that I could be with you right now. My name's Gary Badger, and I am so appreciative of being invited to be a part of this conversation. This is really an important topic for all of you, but has been an important part of my life. So I started using Able, I would say about 5 years ago when I started really thinking about what life I wanted to live, what were the things that I wanted for my life, and that for many of those things, I need to have some savings set aside to do that. I have always cared a lot about my work, and I got my doctorate because I wanted to be able to pursue a wide range of jobs. Work gives me purpose. I love what I do, and I'm driven by both, like, of course, making money, but even more so being able to help others and share my experiences and turn my successes and frustrations into something meaningful for others. But these jobs that I could get with having an undergrad in disability law, a master's in rehabilitation counseling, and then also a doctorate in healthcare ethics put me in a position where I couldn't make and keep the money that I earned and still keep Medicaid, which is for me what allows me not only to stay alive, but to live in my community and to work. I have a physical disability that's really rare, but it requires that I have full-time one-on-one care in my home. It requires a power wheelchair and a ventilator. And so I receive home and community-based services. And I've often said that I could not afford to be successful. Um, and that was the mindset. That was the truth when I started really working about 11 years ago. Um, and that is when Able really was able to step in and start helping me think through all of this. So I know that my health coverage and healthcare is over 300,000 each year, and I'm actually guessing that we push on $1 million each year. I know that I would never make that much, but the trying to save more money than the basic $2,000 or the $10,000 that MAWD, medical assistance for workers with disabilities, allows for wasn't enough. And we all know that that's not enough money for if there's a hot water tank that blows, if you need to replace your stove, if you get into an accident. And so I needed a savings account just for me to have for being able to save for those important things. And I really wanted to be able to continue to work and save that money. From Able and from starting my own businesses, which are J Badger Consulting and Peacock Consulting Services, I was able to create my own path when other employment systems were not going to be able to truly support me and weren't going to really be accessible for me on a long-term basis. What that has meant is then I'm able to work a schedule that works for me. I'm able to earn money and have some of that go into my Able account, but then I'm also able to do those pieces of work that matter so much to me, which includes things like being able to hire other folks with disabilities to work in advocacy and leadership positions, to be able to work directly on policy at the state level primarily. It allows me to support young adults with disabilities in developing leadership and empowerment. Um, but once again, with all of those jobs, I could not save what my jobs were offering me. So my Able account has really given me the feeling of security. It paid off my house this year, which was a huge deal. And one of the biggest barriers for homeownership for individuals who receive benefits is we're not allowed to have a savings. And so down payments can be extremely difficult. And then also having some money set aside for payments for the mortgage are extremely difficult. And so putting the down payment, paying the mortgage, paying off a house are all because Able allowed me to save that money when I needed it for something that was important to me. For me and my perspective, owning a home was extremely important. I wanted to be able to make a home that was fully accessible and welcoming to me. That meant one floor, that meant a fully accessible bathroom, open floor plan, and areas outside that I could get around. And so this house that I was able to buy fits me perfectly. Um, it has further supported me in my ability to work by covering things like transportation. It has helped with my van I'm trying to buy right now, and even things like professional clothing. These things are not always seen as important to the outside community, but we know that whether we like it or not, in the world often reads a book by its cover, judges a book by its cover. And so if we don't look the part of being a professional, of dressing professional, of having the right equipment to allow us to work, then they will judge us and assume that we're not able to work. And so it's really important that we have the ability through Able to buy those things, to be able to go to work, to be able to look the part. This is important for all of us, and it's not just for others, because we shouldn't care what people think, but it does matter when it comes to getting a job. But it also matters for us. We need to feel comfortable in what we wear and feel confident because we are individuals who have identity and dignity and power, and we should be able to celebrate that with how we look and how we dress. When I first really started my business and when I started thinking through what I wanted to do, I initially really didn't want to be a business owner at all. But when I looked at the income, when I looked at the salaries and the benefits, and what that could mean with my benefits and the savings, which also can affect benefits, I realized I was not going to be able to work in a typical job. And so that is why I pursued creating my own business. So I could salary myself at the proper level, and then be able to save what I could at that point. Since starting my businesses in 2014, I had the unbelievable opportunity of working on a project called #I Want to Work, which was based out of the United Way of Southwest PA. And through that, one of the bills that we were able to pass was MAUD, medical assistance for workers with disabilities, workers with job success. It doesn't roll off the tongue, but we call it MAUD, workers with job success, or WJS. And that has eliminated issues with saving money for individuals who are eligible for that category. It has allowed us to earn over $100,000 in earned income. But it isn't a catch-all. It doesn't save everyone because you have to fit into this category and you have to be able to have somewhere for that money to go when you potentially quit your job or you retire because Once you're done working, medical assistance for workers with disabilities is no longer something you're eligible for. And so something like ABLE becomes critical for all savings, because having a savings over that $10,000 or $2,000 goes away. And so all of a sudden, you're back to the basic medical assistance Medicaid eligibility savings of $2,000 a month. And so, no matter the legal changes that have changed here in Pennsylvania and the huge step forwards, ABLE is still a vital part of my work and my ability to really have the life that I want to have. So in summary here today, I'm so grateful for ABLE, but I think that we should be sharing why ABLE is important, even when an individual might have various accounts set up for them, or MAUD, or various other programs. ABLE is still an important program for everyone. Thanks, friends.